What is up, guys? This is Oddjob Entertainment, bringing you another video. Today we will be looking at the Halo multiplayer beta, and I'll be sharing some of my thoughts about it. And before I get too deep into that, I want to tell you a story. In my family, we have a recipe for a Tuscan tomato soup. And this is the best tomato soup I've ever had, which I've only really had two kinds. It's this or Campbell's, and I hate the Campbell's stuff. It tastes super processed and it just does not taste good. And so the Tuscan tomato soup by default has to be a huge upgrade. And it's not terribly difficult to make, but it takes 24 hours to make it. And why is that? Well, because even though the actual process of reducing the soup, simmering it for a while, and getting all those ingredients mixed in, that only takes about 2 hours. You've got to let this soup sit for 24 hours before it reaches that peak flavor potential that it has built within it. If you try to eat it before then, yeah, it's going to be good. But oh man, when you have it with a side of ciabatta bread and it's had that time to mix and get those flavors really working together, it is a night and day difference. It takes it from an 80% to 110%. It's that much of a difference. So whenever we make this tomato soup, we always make it well in advance. If we want to have it as a family for Sunday dinner, we're making it early Saturday morning. And then it's ready for Sunday dinner. Now I know what you're thinking. Oddjob, you're making me hungry. But what does this have to do with Halo? Well, let me tell you. Halo is very new right now. And when I'm looking on forums and such, I'm seeing a lot of complaints about balance and, oh, the AR is too powerful and BR isn't powerful enough. Shock rifle is OP. Stuff like that. And my opinion is we gotta let it simmer a little bit. We gotta let it sit for a while. Right now, people are still just barely figuring out the mechanics. Game could be totally different between now and December 8th without 343 doing anything to balance it. And I'm serious about this. It could change a lot just as the new meta develops and players get accustomed to the sandbox that they're given. They're going to behave differently compared to what we see in just the first few days of a beta. It could be totally different without 343 changing a single variable. And to be honest, this isn't something new. We see this all the time with video games. Brand new game comes out, and week one you see complaints about, oh, this gun is OP, or this car gets too much handling. I've been playing a bit of Forza Horizon 5, so I've been trying to get that Sesto Elemento Forza edition, and oh, man, the grind is real. But if you just sit back for a minute, let the game play out a little bit, it could be totally different if you give it 1-2 weeks. And one of the things that we absolutely do not want to lose is any element of a skill ladder in Halo. I mean, Halo is one of those games where if you can use a sniper rifle really well, you can get 8 kills with the 8 rounds that it gives you. That is definitely possible. I am not one of those players, and I found that this sniper rifle in Halo Infinite is particularly difficult for me to use. I've seen some other people corroborating this. This sniper rifle is a little tougher. With that said, do I want them to go and buff the sniper rifle? Not really, because we don't need to make it too easy for the people that are good with the sniper rifle. I mean, give them a little bit of a challenge, right? I mean, yeah, I'm dog poop with the sniper rifle, but that's nothing new. And if you did lower the skill ceiling so that I can get good streaks, you know that people who actually have talent are just going to go on tears all the time with the sniper rifle. And same thing goes for, you know, the AR. You know, if you make it so that it takes less aiming and there's a lot more aim assist going on, which personally, I do think that there might be a little bit of shenanigans going on with the controllers. But again, I'm willing to wait and see how the game develops. But if you made it so that the aim assist was a lot stronger, well, then what's the point of aiming with your mouse at all? Or controller, if you're playing on console, scrub. I mean, you want to keep that element of skill in the game. You want to make it so that when you do get a good streak, you feel proud of it. And much like the video that you're seeing right now, I mean, I'm not amazing at the game, but I feel like I did okay in these clips, and so I mean, this is what I'm uploading. And I say this, I'm not totally blind to the issues. I see them, I'm aware of them. I mean, good example of an OP gun is if you go way back in the day to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the FAMAS, right? That thing was a laser. You could kill people from across the map. You could one burst pretty reliably. And that gun definitely need a balancing pass. And the nice thing is with the titles that we get now, it seems that it's a lot easier for developers to make those kinds of balance passes more frequently. But when they make them too often, I feel like you run into a situation where it's too many hands in the pot or too many cooks in the kitchen. You need to give your changes time to settle. Figure out what's really wrong, get some good quality feedback. You can't just go to the subreddit for Halo Infinite and see what people are complaining about. That's not a good way to get your feedback. You want to give it some time, collect some actual data, see if people are really abusing a particular weapon, and see if like the accuracy, for example, is way higher than other weapons. And you got to make these tweaks a little slower. Now, I know that some people will disagree with that. They want, they want something fixed right now. But I am not naive enough to think that, my opinion is exactly how a game should be run. The way that I would change a game isn't necessarily the best thing for everybody. It would be the best thing for me. And so I really don't want developers listening to, my whiny voice saying, oh, you got to fix this. You got to fix this now. This gun is too powerful. It needs a nerf. I don't want that because I'm just one person. And, social media does give us this ability to magnify our voices and make us really loud. But that may not be representative of the actual majority of players or what is best for the sandbox overall. When you listen to the most vocal minority, sometimes you get really bad feedback, and that is definitely true in video games. With that, I want to transition into what I think 343 is doing really well. And number one in my mind is the look of the Spartans. They look great. This has been such a throwback to those good old days when you could play Halo Reach with your buds and do a LAN party, which, of course, can't do right now, but I digress. Seeing those new armors and having them actually just I mean, they're really just actually retro armors, right? I mean, they existed in Halo Reach, but man, they look so good in Halo Infinite. And the way that the shaders work and the fact that you can see all these reflections in the visor when you're looking at your Spartan in the armor hall, I mean, it is a beautiful game. It is the best looking Halo we have ever had, and it really shows. It is simply amazing to look at. And I mean, even just the banished Banshee that you see flying around on screen right now, you can tell it's a Banshee, but you can also tell that it is a totally different faction from anything we fought before. The way the guns of the banished sound, they sound like they just hit hard, and they sound brutal and tough. And I love that. I just get totally grapple shot out of my Banshee. Oh well. All good things must come to an end, am I right? But hey, that grapple shot is one of the other things that I think 343 is doing really well. I mean, it used to be that you could just dominate the field in a Banshee. You wouldn't really have many people challenging you if you were a competent pilot because there wasn't much that they could do. I mean, yeah, they could probably get you with the plasma pistol and maybe knock you out of the sky, but if you were a competent pilot, you could definitely stay out of their reach and not have any issues. The grapple shot does give you something else that you have to worry about, and I think that's good. I mean, you want to keep vehicles in check. You don't want them to run the battlefield. Another aspect that I want to praise 343 on, I feel like map design so far has been pretty good. And again, you know, this is the multiplayer beta. My opinions are likely to change somewhat as time goes on. Maybe I will find that there's a map that I just don't like the flow of, but as of right now, things are looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about the game overall. I think map design aesthetically looks great. It definitely hits that old school Forerunner vibe that we were kind of missing in Halo 4 and Halo 5. It feels like just a super updated version of the classic Halos that I enjoyed playing, and I think that most of the maps flow pretty well. I don't have enough time in the maps to really make a super educated decision yet, but I think that they're doing pretty good. I'm also happy to say that this time around, it seems like most of the issues that were plaguing my PC performance in the technical previews, those seem to be resolved. I'm getting a pretty solid 90, high 90s FPS most of the time. Sometimes it'll dip into the high 80s, but it's well above 60, and it hasn't had any of those memory leak symptoms like where it bogs down and starts to turn into a stuttery slideshow. Haven't seen that. It's been pretty consistent, and it is a breath of fresh air for the gameplay on its own. I mean, being able to play and have consistency, that is a huge change to how balance feels in the game. I actually feel like I can reliably get kills and not have to feel frustrated all the time about, guy wasn't even there shooting at me. How'd he get me? A lot of those moments are gone. It's not perfect, but it is so much better than the technical previews. Just so much better. And the fact that they were able to get this out to us early and let us enjoy the game on the 20th anniversary of Halo. I don't know all the specifics, but I'm sure that there was a big push internally in order to make that possible. So, good job, 343. I'm proud of you. You done did good. Oh boy, I am recording this section again. You see, I started to complain about the progression system, and I realized I was falling into the trap that I had just talked about. I want to give 343 the time to collect a sufficient amount of data to figure out a good solution to the issues. I do think progression right now is really tough. And I would like to see them lower the requirements a bit and possibly build in a way for me to level up faster without having to focus solely on the challenges. But again, maybe my opinion is not what the game really needs. This is the time to collect feedback. That's what a beta is for. So 343, you're the guys behind the curtain. You're getting all the feedback that we're giving you. Let's work out a good solution. I could name off a couple solutions off the top of my head, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's really the way that we should go. So, as a player base, I think the smart thing to do is play the game as is, and let's work together to get the best solutions made. We don't want any knee-jerk balancing patches to go through that make the game worse in the end. We've seen that hamper the Battlefield games the last couple, at least quite a bit. And we don't want that. So we don't want those kind of knee-jerk reactions to be what gets pushed through. We want to give them time to make the best game possible for us. I want Halo Infinite to be super successful. I want Dr. Disrespect to eat his words. And I want it to be that we don't need a Halo Infinite Battle Royale because Halo Infinite can stand on its own 2 feet. But in order for that to happen, we need the best solutions, and those do take time. So my word of wisdom for today is, be patient, play the game, provide your feedback constructively. Don't yell, don't all caps on the keyboard, don't whine. Provide constructive criticism, which entails providing possible solutions to the scenarios that you are coming up against, and let's get this game. Let's give this game that last bit of polish that's gonna push it over the top and be the next COD killer. Just kidding. You can't kill Call of Duty. There's too much money behind that. But you know, we can at least take them away from their double XP weekends every now and then, right? Now to wrap this all up, tie it up in a bow, and send it off to boarding school. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. How have you enjoyed the beta so far? What has been the things that you like, things you don't like? But again, if you're going to say something you don't like, you better provide a solution too. Otherwise, you're just whining. Let's focus on constructive criticism. Solutions, people. We need answers. But what's your experience been like? Have you been having good performance? Have you had any artifacting issues? Have you had any stuttering? What's your specs? What are you playing on? And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, you know how this goes. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the YouTube things and let me know what you think down in the comments. But until next time, this has been your host, Oddjob Entertainment, signing off. I can't believe I almost forgot this, guys. I have a Rumble account now. If you want to support me there, it's a YouTube alternative. Trying to build up some traction there. Go follow me on Rumble. Find the link down in the description. See you there.